Picture this, it's 1998. You've spent months trying to convince your parents that you need a Game Boy, and you finally get it. It was a green Game Boy Pocket. The one thing you wanted more than anything along with that Game Boy was probably one of the greatest Nintendo accessories ever to be made. No, not the sewing machine, the GameBoy Camera. Unlike somebody,
I never had a Game Boy Camera as a kid.
I did have it as a kid, and I took it everywhere with me for years. I always had it, and I used it constantly. I used it for the little like mini games that are inside it, where you can like juggle the balloons or the ball or whatever it might be, and you could put your face on it, which was very entertaining. There was even like the DJ game that was kind of, I got quite good at that one, but obviously most of all was the camera. I was really into photography when I was a kid, less as the years went on, but like as a kid I was really into it. And I remember my mum also bought me a 35mm camera point and shoot that I used. It was blue, I remember that much, and I absolutely adored it. I even had one of those Polaroids, the thin long ones that you had the strip that you pulled out afterwards. God, they were quite cool. I might see if I could find one of those on the internet somewhere. But I liked it. The biggest problem with photography, especially film photography, more so now, is the printing the images out and trying to get those images off of developed essentially. With the Game Boy Pocket or even the Game Boy Camera, that's not really a problem because they were digital, so you could see them and you could see what you've been taking. And once you've done that, you could, in fact, if you were very lucky like I was that year, you got the Game Boy printer as well. Focus. Which had thermal paper inside it that printed out on a strip. I recently bought some new paper from Japan, come in these very cool looking boxes, but it turns out these sort of things, thermal paper has a little bit of a shelf life. Did this even have a date on it? No, but it doesn't work. So that's another video for the future. We must be able to find thermal paper that does work for them still, right? Rob actually made a video on the Game Boy Camera a few videos back. Rob, if you don't know, is the other guy who runs his channel with me, and we kind of make videos alternating each week. But he made a video where he took it to Scotland and took some nice pictures with it, and he got some really good results. Once I saw that video, I was dying to do one myself, so I dug my camera out and we went to take photos. But before I did that, my Game Boy Pocket is pretty old these days, but I also kind of in good condition, so I don't like using it very often. But certainly don't like taking it out of the house. So what I thought would be a good idea is using something different, which is the funny playing Game Boy Color. So I think we need to build this up first so we can take some pictures. So I picked this up from the Funny Playing website. You can choose yourself a case, whatever color you want, and some buttons and membranes, things like that. And then in the actual pack, you get a display. The display is incredible. We'll look at that in a bit more detail later when it's powered on. You get a battery and a speaker, and then the most exciting part, which is essentially a whole motherboard and all the gubbins of the internals of a Game Boy, but brand new. This was really, really simple to do. The actual case itself, you just got to essentially put all the buttons in, things like that. The display is designed to go straight into this case as well, so there's no cutting, nothing weird. The speaker didn't kind of fit as nice as I thought it would, so it took me a minute to kind of get it, but like once you got it, and it was all cool really. Putting the actual motherboard in, screwing it down, that was it. The actual power button that I ordered, I actually ended up ordering from a different website, so it doesn't actually work with the device. Since then, I've replaced it with a Funny Playing one, and it works okay. But you might spot me in a moment turning it on with a screwdriver, so ignore that. but that was it. Basically, screw it all together and it works. And this display is insane. It's so good. Yeah, let us know in the comments if you want us to review this unit. Maybe I should give it to Rob and see what he thinks. Cool, so now that's all built and ready to go, we can go and take some photos. But while editing and getting these clips already, I've just found a little snippet of me finding one of those Postman Pat photos and deleting it. This is clearly, I think this day actually was a day that I discovered you can delete or reformat the drive. So halfway through taking these photos of trains, I did work it out and I reformatted the card. But here's a clip of me, yeah, deleting old Postman Pat in the process. I'm not going to really do any talking at this stage, just going to let the photos do the talking for you, for me, and we'll talk a little bit about them afterwards.
Yes.
So, am I going to leave my camera at home from now on? No, I'm not going to replace my iPhone with a Game Boy camera because the photos are terrible, like really bad, but they were a lot of fun. And I think that's the only reason I'm going to continue using this camera, is it's fun. Obviously, for me personally, there's a lot of nostalgia there, and I imagine if you're watching this video, you probably had one or wanted one, and there's definitely nostalgia there for you too. But would I actually use this in any other way sitting than just a bit of fun? No. These photos, if you want to call them that, are very bad. But I had a lot of fun and I really enjoyed taking them. And when I look at them, I just think I'm a kid again. Really. But this is not the end of the Game Boy Camera. I do want to try and get the printer going again. Another nostalgia episode, I suppose, really. There's no other real reason to do it other than it will be a lot of fun. So if you're interested in that, do stick around, hit the subscribe button so you don't miss that video. But another video that you might not want to miss is the Worm Cam. The Worm Cam is essentially a Game Boy camera for the Game Boy Advance. I found this on eBay. I can't remember how much I spent on it, maybe 20 quid or something. I bought this, it came from America. I imagine it'll work on my Game Boy Advance. We'll find out, I guess. But I couldn't not buy it because it's kind of like, yeah, Very cool, isn't it? And it's sealed, so we'll open that up in a future episode, and we'll do some more photography with the Game Boy Advance instead. But that's that. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure you do subscribe, like, on all that good stuff. Give us a comment below as well. Like, this is a brand new channel. We've got lots of content and ideas to be made, and they're weekly episodes. So next week it'll be a video with Rob, I imagine. So yeah, see you next week.